This iPad has one of the best screen protectors I've tested. I've been testing screen protectors for a really long time now, and for my testing, there's 4 different kinds that you can choose from. Matte film, glass film, tempered glass, and magnetic ones. These magnetic removable ones, these are pretty new, but the one kind I'd stay away from, it's the third one. Now, the majority of my iPads get these matte film protectors. Now, even just a few years ago, there was only like 4 or 5 brands you could choose from, but there are just so many nowadays. I've tested about 8 different versions, including the latest Paper-like one, and out of those 8, there's only 2 or 3 that are actually worth getting. Now, this type of product's useful for people who like to use styluses, or people who like to game on their iPads a lot. The biggest thing about these types of screen protectors is that it adds a bit of friction to your styluses and to your fingers. So instead of having your stylus or your fingers slide around like a buttered up human being on a glass screen protector, it slows everything down so everything feels more like writing on paper. It's paper-like, right, Monty? Honestly, if you use a stylus a lot and you haven't tried a matte screen protector, you need to get one. It is game-changing. When it comes to gaming, it just makes the on-screen controls a little easier because there's a bit more friction to the screen so your fingers aren't sliding around as much. Now, from my perspective, those are pretty big upsides. What about downsides? Nothing like trying to line up something that is flimsy, pretty darn big compared to an iPhone, and half of it is sticky. Now, I've been a reviewer for 10 years now, and matte screen protectors are probably the most annoying thing to install on any sort of device. I've got a bunch of tips on how I do it, so do check out that linked video. Now, the increased friction is going to cause you some troubles. Your stylus nubs are going to wear a little quicker. Now, if you're an Apple Pencil user, you're going to spend $25 to get 5 extra nubs. But here's a secret, if you go with a third-party one, they're cheaper, and most of them come with spare nubs. Now, another thing with these matte screen protectors that I've noticed is that my fingers get tired doing this all the time. When you've got a screen protector with a smoother surface, your finger doesn't get caught on it as much. But with the improved friction, your fingers kind of like drag a little bit more, and my knuckles tend to get sore after like 1 to 2 hours of doing that. Now, my biggest issue when it comes to matte screen protectors is that it borderline ruins the quality of your screen. Now, if you've just got a regular iPad or an iPad mini where the screen isn't like spectacular like the iPad Pros, that's not going to be a big deal, but the screen on the iPad Pro is just phenomenal. And these matte screen protectors take away from that beautiful screen. Now, another issue is going to be, well, fingerprints. If you're a really greasy person, you're going to notice some weird fingerprinting on a matte screen protector. And these things are a little more annoying to clean because the grease kind of gets between the textured surface and it just kind of stays there. You just can't like wipe it off. You really have to get in there. The last thing I will note is certain brands are rougher than others and will result in you losing a lot of dead skin cells when you're rubbing your iPad. Now, as I said earlier, the matte screen protectors are one of my go-to types of screen protectors. The best one I've used to date is actually the newest Paper-like, but I have done a full review on it, so do check it out. With that product, Paper-like somehow figured out how to make a screen protector that writes really well without having the entire surface feel like sandpaper, which is really neat. Now, if you're balking at the price of the Paper-like, go with these guys, the Spigen Paper Touch Pro. This thing doesn't perform as well as the Paper-like product, but it does come with an install frame, making it a little bit easier to install. And if you can't find these guys, go with something from Bellamont. If you do a lot of drawing, this Bellamont product is going to be awesome for you. Now, if you don't have a stylus or they're kind of not your thing, but you still want some protection, you should really consider getting a glass film. Now, glass film products are far and few between. I think in my collection, I've only got 3 of them. Product from Bridge, product from ESR, as well as this thing that was way too expensive and performs poorly. Let's start with the pros. It keeps the screen quality of like your iPad Pros, like this thing still looks stunning, and there's still a bit of protection on it, which means you get a better fit with some of the tighter fitting accessories, like there's no gap. And again, it's just more protection for your iPad. Now, these products generally market themselves as flexible glass, which is bullcrap because most of them are just a thin piece of clear polycarbonate with adhesive on the back. It's just plastic. This is a glass screen protector, this is a glass film. This is actually one of the better glass film protectors I've used, but this thing will scratch around 5. Like, that's not great, whereas nothing's gonna happen with the glass screen protector. Most films scratch around 3, so this one that I'm showing you right here is above average. Now, like all things, there are some downsides to this product. The edges of the product are a little more noticeable, and because these edges aren't really rounded, you get stuff that kind of collects underneath the screen protector right along the edges, so it just looks a little grody. Now, when it comes to installing these products, they are just as bad as the matte film protectors. It's just terrible. But my go-to product that's on this iPad Pro actually comes with an install frame, so it just makes everything that much easier. If you're planning to get one of these for your iPad, I personally would go with the ESR Armorite. Comes with an install frame, better protection than glass, and well, it has a great benefit over glass, which I'll talk about in the next one. Like, out of all the things I've bought in the last while, this thing is 20 bucks and it comes with 2, so it's a great bargain from my perspective. Now, before we keep going, if you are planning on getting a screen protector, use my links. I'm a reviewer, not an influencer. I do not care which brand you get. I do care that you try to use my links if you found my video useful, because I'm unsponsored, nobody's paying me to make these videos. Again, reviewer, not influencer. All right, let's talk about glass screen protectors. When it comes to the iPhone, for screen protectors, I generally default to glass, especially the sapphire stuff that doesn't scratch. When it comes to the iPad, I don't do glass for one big reason. I'll get into it. Now, the nice thing about glass is that the scratch protection is above average when compared to one of those paper-like ones. Glass is going to do a bang-up job keeping your screen look, well, stunning. And installing these products is a little easier because companies usually give you frames. If you pay enough money, because if you go really cheap, like a JetTech brand, you get nothing. Though there's two downsides with glass. Most screen protectors are 0.33 millimeters, which doesn't seem that thick, right, Monty? But if you're using a tight-fitting accessory like a smart keyboard, you're gonna end up with this gap. This is not a good look. Another thing with glass screen protectors is that it's super smooth, which means your smart covers just don't really stay on. It's annoying. Those are two pretty big annoyances, but it doesn't bother me as much as this. They are terrible in terms of durability. The moment you get a chip, you're gonna be guaranteed a crack, and that crack is gonna be more annoying than a crack in your windshield, trust me. The brands that make amazing screen protectors for your iPhone do not make screen protectors for the iPad, so you're stuck with these really cheap ones where the edges crack really easily. Like, it's crazy to see how popular some of these screen protectors are on Amazon, and I really hope you guys realize that you shouldn't get them because there are just better options than glass, like the thing I mentioned before. Now, if you're set on getting a glass screen protector, I would recommend something from Spigen because it's just easier to install. If you need glass, go with this. Seriously, why would you want to put this on your iPad? Like, that's just so gnarly. All right, let's talk about the removable screen protectors. Now, these things have kind of shown up on my radar in the last couple of years. For the longest while, Moshi was kind of the only game in town, but lots of companies are coming out with magnetic ones. Now, the most common type of this type of screen protector, is the paper-like ones. Paper feel, paper screen. The biggest pro is that you can take it on and off your iPad as much as you want. So if you know you're gonna be using your iPad Pencil a lot, you just stick it on. This thing stays on because of the magnets on your iPad. So once you get it on, it's not coming off. Now, if you're done with it, you just take it off and you get your beautiful screen back. Now, there are a few cons with this product. The first is because everything is attached magnetically, there's no adhesive on this part of the screen. So if you use it long enough, dust and debris will actually start accumulating along the edges of the iPad. And when that happens, if you don't clean it quick enough, whatever's between the screen protector and your screen, if you rub it enough, it's gonna start scratching your screen, which sucks. Another downside is that there is just another thing for you to lug around. So in your tote, you've gotta have this thing around with you all the time, as well as a microfiber cloth, which I don't have handy. Another downside is the thickness of the product. Kind of like glass, you've added quite a bit of extra thickness to your iPad. And so if you're using a tight-fitting accessory like a smart keyboard, you get this wonderful gem. But yes, you could take it off, but again, it's just more of a hassle. If you're planning on going this route, I would get products from Bellamon. This is the ESR one, and you can kind of tell that the Bellamon one isn't as harsh, so your screen looks decent in it. Again, if you're thinking about getting one of these screen protectors, use my links. I'm a reviewer, not an influencer, so as long as you found this video useful, I don't care which brand you get, you just show your support by using my links. First time watching my videos, I do encourage you to click subscribe. All I do is just product reviews and roundups.